Hi guys, you're welcome once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Umeme. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be making this flare top using this Ankara fabric. So yes, we're just going to be folding this fabric into two like so, like you see me doing. I'm going to be folding it into two like so. First, it's a 2 yards Ankara fabric I'm using for this tutorial. Then after you finish folding it into two, you fold it again diagonally like you can see me doing here. You just went ahead to fold it diagonally, just trying to use my fabric. Okay, if you have more fabric, you can make more fold. Okay, you can make your fold wider depending on how much your fabric is. So now I'm going to be determining my shoulder, where I'm going to be starting my shoulder measurement from. So to make that happen, I have to note where my shoulder is 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2 will give me 7.5. So plus half an inch for my sewing allowance, which is 8. So there, I find out 8 inches fits into that part. Okay, so you just find yours from your fabric. So that's where my 8 inches is there. So I just rolled it out. So that's my shoulder point. So from there, I'm going to be taking my armhole measurement from the shoulder there. Okay, first of all, I'll be coming down by 1 inch to create my shoulder slope, then 3 inches for my neck depth for that part, just to create my shoulder slope. Then I'll be connecting it back to the 1 inch which we initially took. So after doing this, I can now go in with my shoulder with my armhole measurement. Here I'm using 7 inches. Okay, so I just came down by 7 inches. So from the shoulder point which we drew, if you measure it, you'll be having each 8 inches. So I just want a straight line, so I measured 8 inches at the center front of my fabric as well. So I connected it back to my armhole just to have a straight line there. So from that my armhole measurement, I'm going to be looking for the midpoint. The midpoint of this is actually 7 inches. But before I do that, I just want to take the same measurement as in my bust measurement. My bust measurement divided by 4, then 1 inch sewing allowance. I want to make sure I have enough at that point. That's why I took it there. So I came down to measure the 8 inches which I have on my armhole, because this is dicey guys. If you don't know what you're measuring, you actually make a mistake, because it is folded diagonally. So that's what I just did. So I have a straight line to determine the midpoint of my shoulder measurement, of my armhole measurement. Then I connected it back to my armhole, okay, or to my bust measurement. So that's what I just did there. To have a perfect curve, I just came in by 1 inch from that sharp edge at my armhole and connect it back to my bust measurement, like so, my chest area. So from that point, that's all the measurements you've actually been needing, apart from the length of your top. So now I'll just start from this initial starting point to know the length of my gown, of my top rather. So for me here, I have 29 inches. Okay, I have 29 inches. You can put your tape from that starting point and do 29 inches all round. Or when you put it at the starting point and make sure you have your 29 inches for your length, you can now come down to your chest line and take the measurements you have there. Then from there you will know what you use round. It's actually the same thing. So that's what I'm doing here. So if I go up as well to take that measurement from the starting point, I'll be having 29 inches as well. So I'm just going to connect those lines together. I'm just going to connect those lines together. And now I can cut out. So now I can cut this out. So before I cut out, I'm just going to be adding half an inch to my shoulder point there for my shoulder joining. We always do this. Please do not forget your shoulder allowance. So I just measured it there. Then yeah. And I can start cutting out. I just want to make a little twist at the bottom part of this top. So I'm going to be coming down by 3 inches from the center fold of my top. Okay, I want to have this effect of this, the front and the back should be a bit longer than the sides. Yes, so I came down by 3 more inches at the center point, and I connected it back to the side of my top. Just cutting it out now, like so. So here I'm going to be cutting out my front armhole first. I'm going to be following that straight line we have. I'm not going to be coming in by half an inch for my back armhole. Rather, I'm going to be cutting out my back armhole first. When I'm done cutting out my back armhole, then I can trim out my front armhole. So here I'm just going to be slitting this open. You know, it's unfold at that part. I just managed this fabric, so I don't want to waste it. That's why I didn't cut through that part. I just slitted it open. So now I have my front and my back. So I'm just removing the back, okay, so I can just trim out the front armhole. So I can trim out the front armhole. So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So I'm done trimming out the front armhole. Then I'm going to be setting the back again together with the front so I can cut out my neck line. So I fixed the front, back, and the front and the back together again. So now I'm taking the depth of my front. The depth of my front is going to be 3 inches and 3 inches width. I actually reduced the width a bit. I used 2.75 for my neck width and 3 inches for my neck depth. So now my back depth is 1 inches and the width remains the same as the front. So I'll be cutting out the back neckline first. And when I'm done cutting out the back, I'll be removing it so I can cut out my front neck depth. So yeah, I'm just cutting out my front neckline. So voila, we are almost done with our cotton, guys. So I'll just set this aside and come in with the leftover fabric to cut my sleeve. Okay, it's a short sleeve. Like I said before, this is a 2 yards of fabric, so I'm just managing it. Okay, so I'll just be doing a very short sleeve with the leftover fabric. So the length of my sleeve is 8 inches. So from that 8 inches point, I'm just going to be rolling like an inverted S. Yeah, there. So Then I'll be taking my bicep measurement, so divided by 2 and 1 inch sewing allowance is what I added there. Then for my armhole area, I'm using 9 inches actually. That's 9 inches into 2 will be giving me 18. So we'll be adding 1 inch to it. So total of 10 inches, 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So I'll just cut it out. So I connected the upper part to the down bicep area, then just cut it out like so. So I'll go ahead and cut the lining for my bodice and the sleeve.
If you come here and show your head,
I've
the
done
slap
that.
I will
I've
give
cut
you.
out the lining for my top. So now for the back, this is the back piece. It's going to be having an opening at the back, okay? So that the hair will be able to pass through. This top is like a turtleneck top. So if you do not slit this open, your hair will not be able to pass through. So I just went down by 5 inches and I just slitted it open. I didn't do anything much, just slitted it open by 5 inches. Okay, you can see the opening we have there. That's just what I did for the back of my top. So this is our front. We also put up the lining for it as well. So now I'll be bringing the main fabrics first, keeping the lining aside. I'll be joining the main fabric first. The shoulder. Okay, making sure the right side facing right side. Okay, I'll be joining the fabric right side facing right side. Joining it at the shoulder area.
Maybe he's sewing shirts.
Joining it at the shoulder area like so. Once I'm done doing that, I will repeat the same thing for my lining, joining them both at the shoulder. Let me quickly do that. So I'm done joining the shoulders together. Placing the fabric and the lining together, right side facing, because I want to use it to turn the back ending. I want to use it to turn the slit which we have at the back. So I'll just put it together like so, and I'm going to be sewing it with half an inch down, so I can have a neat finishing of that slit area at the back. So once I'm done with that, I'll flip it inside and give it a good press. So I'm done turning it with the lining. So just the slit alone I turned. I did not turn the neckline. When I finished turning the slit, then I joined the neckline together with the main fabric. The neckline with the lining and the main fabric together, because it's going to be having a bishop collar or something, turtleneck collar. So I don't need to turn the neckline with the lining. So now I'm going to the hem of the top, and I'm going to be joining it with the lining as well. Just locate the midpoint and just turn it together. Just turn it again so you can understand what I just said. So this is my lining for my fabric. These are the raw side. So I put paper tape on so that it will give me this fold I need. I just flip it like so and stitch on it.
Do you know how the brush is like it's mommy, the brush is like so daddy was trying to remove up. Now I'm going to break it here. break it
when you
today.
complete it, I will do the same thing to the other side of
Since I don't
the
spit water again, no.
top as well.
I am full.
So I'm going to flip it.
Can you be like other place?
You can see what I'm doing.
This
I'm
place.
taking my time to explain this so you can understand me better. So just stitch on it so. So let's just go to the sewing machine so I can show you guys what I mean. So this is it. This is it again. I'm coming again. I'm emphasizing on this part so that you can understand me better. So just flipped it like so. Yeah, flipped it. So I started stitching. Doing my stitch like so. So I'm just going to stitch all the way down. Just stitching all the way down. And I'm just doing this so you can see the process of it. Yeah, I'm almost at the end. So there. Once I'm done doing this, I'm going to be turning it to the front. Because I'm going to be top stitching on the lining. So the rough end of my fabric, I'm going to be putting them on the lining area. You can see just push your sewing allowance towards your lining, then top stitch on top of the lining. So you have a very neat finishing. So yeah, I'm done doing that. So I'm done top stitching it. This is what you have. You can see how it is. So I'm just going to give it a good press. Do the same thing to the other side and press it properly. So this is it now. You can see the hem. You can see how neat it is. So before doing this, guys, you have to cut out at least 1 inch from your lining. So your lining will be a bit shorter than your fabric. So once you finish turning it with the lining, it will drag some fabric out. So the lining will not be coming out from your fabric. So right now I want to use the lining as well to turn the sides. So just flip it like so, then sew it then with half an inch or thereabouts. So I'm done using the lining to turn it. So I just turn it back out. You can see what we have. You see our sides are neatly sewn. All the rough edges have been concealed inside in between the lining and the main fabric. So outside is very neat, front and back. Yeah. So now I'm going to be placing the fabric from each other like so, right side facing, so I can just use a 1 inch sewing allowance which I left to close the sides of this top. So I've done that. So I just brought the sleeve and the lining. I went ahead to put a paper stay on my sleeve as well. Anywhere I want to turn and I want it to stay down flat, I always do this. Else it stays flat. So I'm going to be placing it right side facing. I'm going to be taking it to the sewing machine, use half an inch to stitch it down, then flip it, then top stitch it like we did for the top. So this is my top after joining the sides together. So now this is my sleeve. I've also gone ahead to turn it neatly with the lining. So now I'm going to be folding it like so, then use my sewing allowance to join the sides of the sleeves together. the sides together. Join the sides together. Then I'll add it to my top. So I'm done joining. So here's my sleeves. Here are my sleeves. So I'm going to be bringing the sleeve, the midpoint of the sleeve with the midpoint of the sides, that same line. I'm going to be aligning it with the midpoint of my sleeve. Okay, then I'm going to be stitching it down round using 1/2 inch. So here I'm done joining the sleeve, guys. So now here I want to sew the turtleneck collar. So before doing that, I'm going to be measuring what I have on my neck, round my neck. So I'll be using my tape measure to measure what I have round. So whatever you have, that is what you'll be using to cut out your collar. So here I have about 18, yeah, on my 10, yeah. So now this is my paper stay, my gum stay. I like using my gum stay to cut it out first before using it to cut out my fabric. So now this is my paper stay, which I folded into two. I'm just rolling a line there to serve as my starting point. So from the folded edge, I'm going to be taking the measurement which we have there divided by 2, because you can see that the paper stays on fold. So divided by 2. After that, I'll mark the midpoint of that, then come in by 1/2 inch at the top, then connect it to the 1/2 inch at the top, because I don't want this collar to be straight. Okay, so from that 1/2 inch, that's where I'll start taking the width for my collar. If you want yours to be 1.5, 1.25, whatever you can do, but for me I used 1 inch. I do not want my collar to be so wide, so just determine how wide you want yours to be and start measuring from there, okay, from that line. So I just measured 1 inch down, then I connected those dots together. If you want a curve, you can do this, but if you do not want, you can just leave it straight. So for me, I'm just leaving it straight, and I'll be cutting this out. So I'm done cutting it out. So now this is what I'll be using to cut on my main fabric. So just fold my main fabric, then I'll place the gum stay on it. Then I'll be cutting it round, leaving extra 1/2 inch round my gum stay, around all the sides apart from the folded end. All the remaining sides I added 1/2 inch. So you can see what we have. After cutting this out, I'll be cutting another one to serve as the lining. So I've gone ahead to cut another one, so I have 2 of this color. So now I'm going to be ironing my paper gum stay on one part of fabric. So after doing that, I'll also be folding the curved area down like so. That 1/2 inch, I'll be folding it and I'll be pressing it down. I've gone ahead to do that as well. So now I'm going to be using the other one, which is my lining. I'll place it on top like so. Flip it. I also went ahead to make a loop, okay, because it's going to be having a button at the back. So I made a loop for my button. So I'm going to be placing it like so in between the 2 fabric, okay. So make sure it is inside. Fold your loop, make sure it is inside, and sew 1/2 inch like so down. So that's actually the top of this collar. That's what I'm going to be stitching down like so. I hope you understand. So I've gone ahead to do that. You can see what we have. I also ironed it, so my loop is out there, and I have half an inch outside and half an inch folded in. So what I'll be doing is bringing my top now. I'm going to be locating the midpoint of our collar and also the midpoint of the neck of my top. So I'll be placing the midpoint to meet each other. Please, when placing, don't place like this. Don't place right side to right side. Please come inside. Place the right side of the collar to the wrong side of the top of the neck of your top. Okay, the half an inch which is left outside, that's what you're going to be stitching to the wrong side of the neck of your top. Just stitch it down round, raising up the other half an inch which you folded inside, because that's the one you're going to be top stitching on top to give it this neat finishing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to do that now first. So after stitching it down like so, you can see what we have. Now this folded part, you can see what we have. Now this folded part is left, so I'm just going to be sandwiching, so the rough part is going to be concealed inside the collar. So just push it inside the collar, then you top stitch. You've already folded that part, it will be nice and neat. So here, this is the finished look of our top. So beautiful. So guys, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and join this beautiful family. Okay, and also like this video, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.